because in the past, this was my biggest hurdle was I would start to lose weight, I would drop down, and then I would go out on a bender, have a night out. And the next morning I'd step on the scale and I'm 6, 8 pounds heavier. And I would think, well, what's the point of doing this if I can't go out and enjoy one night? I'm going to gain 6 or 8 pounds. But I think it's human nature. Like everybody, you start to overthink things and you build this wall in your mind, and then you get discouraged that you're not going to get over that wall. But it's just something you build in your head. That's the reason I yo-yo dieted for so many years, is that I would start to overthink things. I would build that wall in my head. I would get discouraged and thought, crap, I don't want to do this. This is no fun.
Hey there, how's it going? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward, and today I've got the opportunity to chat to one of my personal coaching students, Craig Warr. And Craig has gone through the Muscle After 40 blueprint and has made an amazing transformation. Not only has he lost the body fat, but now he's in the process of building lean muscle and achieving a body recomposition. And the big thing is it's an enjoyable part of his lifestyle. No longer a source of stress, a source of anxiety and a burden. It's actually something that he's enjoying. So he's not only gotten himself in shape, but he has a system to stay in shape. And I think that's the hardest part for a lot of people. It certainly was for me. Getting in shape is one thing. Staying in shape is something totally different. And that's what we're really going to dive into. So Craig, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the conversation. Glad to have you here. I mean, you're from my home province of Newfoundland. So it's like I'm talking to a feller from home, literally. So just introduce yourself. Where are you from and where are you living to now?
So thanks for having me. It was always a pleasure to chat. So I grew up in Newfoundland originally. I currently live in Calgary, Alberta. I've lived there since 2000. I work in the oil industry. So I try and get back for a visit every once in a while. But the past 22 years, I guess, I've been here in Calgary. Married now with two young boys, 6 and 8 years old. So life's busy.
Absolutely. I've got one. I've got a 5-year-old, and he keeps me busy. So
that was one of my motivators to actually get in shape, because I couldn't keep up with these two anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Growing up, I was just a string bean of a kid, really skinny, scrawny. I played sports quite a bit through high school and stuff, but I never got into weight training or strength training until I was actually in college, where I met a fellow student in my class and we became roommates. And he was basically a bodybuilder. So he took me under his wing. So the first 2 years of college, I worked out with him. And then when I finished college, I left Newfoundland. I went offshore Louisiana. And when I left and went there, I basically didn't step back in a gym for 7 years. After that, I went offshore. I worked offshore. Then I moved back to Canada. I started to work in the field here in Canada, but I didn't work out. I don't know what it was, why I didn't decide to keep working out. But then once I transferred back to Calgary, I got in Calgary, and eventually I met my wife, and I was in town more. I was working from the office instead of being in the field. And I thought, I got to get back into working out again. And that was kind of when I found you online, because I was trying to figure things out, like, well, what do I have to do here? How many calories do I have to eat and whatnot? Because honestly, when I initially worked out in college, I just ate like a pig. Whatever I could eat, I was eating peanut butter out of a jar with a spoon. I just wanted to get big and strong. I didn't care what I looked like. I just wanted to get bigger and stronger. I didn't care about that if I got a 6-pack or not. I don't care. I just want to be able to bench press 250 pounds. You know how it is, right? You got to be able to bench press as much as possible.
How much can you bench? Right? That's the question. Yeah. So what year was this approximately?
I would say, Lee, it was probably 08, 09.
Okay.
And then I'd go back at it. I was at it for maybe a year. Then I'd make some progress and I get leaner, but then I'd kind of do the yo-yo. I'd fall off. There'd be time I'd go 6 months. I wouldn't go in the gym anymore. I wouldn't do anything. Just drink beer, eat chips, and gain weight again. And it was like 220 pounds was like the trigger to mark. So when I hit 220, I was like, okay, I got to get back at this. Yeah. And then I do some more research and I'd learn a little bit more and a little bit more. So I did that for several years. And then like when first child comes along and just, I think I just hit a wall, just lack of sleep and
Yep.
I just fell off completely.
I can relate to that.
And
Yeah.
I tried to get back into it and I just could never get the motivation. And well, I guess a year and a half ago or whatever, when I saw your Lose Your Gut challenge, I was like, this is it. There's something I'm missing there. There's some key thing I'm missing about staying in shape. I don't know what it is. The internet's an ocean of information when it comes to trying to figure out like what do you need for calories? Like how do I have to work out? What do I have to do here exactly to like how do I look like lean like a guy who's not necessarily on the cover of a fitness magazine who's ripped and stage ready, but how do I just get in shape and stay in shape? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I knew there were key things I was missing. So that was the big reason. When I signed up for that Lose Your Gut challenge, I was like, that's it. I don't care what it costs me. I want to get this figured out so I can just take it and go the rest of my life and just stay in shape.
And that's pretty much exactly what you've done. So I mean,
Yeah.
I respect how you had that open mind, like openness to learn something new, because that's the first step. Because if you have this mindset of I know it all, I'll figure it out on my own. I mean, you might, right? Like through years of trial and error, you may figure it out, or you may be like you were stuck in that yo-yo rut, make a little progress, lose it, make a little progress, lose it. And a lot of people stay in that rut, spinning their wheels for years.
It becomes frustrating when it's like hitting plateaus when you're losing weight. It's like, so when do you keep going? What do you change? You know, and that's where it gets tricky, right? And it becomes frustrating. That's where the guidance of someone who's went through it, a coach, an expert, is key, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And most of the people you see who compete do have a coach. And there's a difference between getting ready for a competition versus a lifestyle approach. And
Yeah.
I can speak to both sides because I'm a former competitive bodybuilder, did it, I mean, on and off bodybuilding since 1995. Right.
Yeah.
Actually, for 17 years, I was competing and going through that yo-yo up and down. And the way it is with the bodybuilding approach, it's what I refer to as the all or nothing mentality, where, like, say, for 12 to 16 weeks before a competition, you put on your blinders and you say, okay, this is it. This is my lifestyle for the next 3 to 4 months. I'm going to just boil chicken and broccoli, 2 hours of cardio, weight training 6 days a week, burn the candle at both ends, no social life, no meals, no family get-togethers. Like it's torture. It really is.
Yeah.
But it works. It works. Like you will get in amazing shape if you just put those blinders on and focus, like singularity of focus for a short period of time. But the thing is, what do you do after that? Because you can only sustain that suffer it out mentality so long before you say, screw it, F it, I can't do this anymore. And then you go back to your old habits. And then as soon as you go back to your old habits, months to lose it, only weeks to gain it all back. And then, back to square one.
Yeah. And it's funny because, that bulk cut type cycle that a lot of strength athletes do, a lot of ordinary people have this misconception that you got to live on chicken and broccoli to be in shape. Like people see me have a beer, eat wings, or have a night out. They're like, how do you stay in shape when you're doing this? Look, it's not what you think.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
That was a game changer for me as well, because I used to always think like that all or nothing. Like, hey, it's boiled chicken, broccoli, killing yourself in the gym, or it's enjoying yourself. Like there was no happy medium. There was no in between. And it was mastering that in between that really allowed me to create this sustainable approach, which we call the Muscle After 40 blueprint. And of course you went through it, and like just kind of share the story. I mean, obviously you went through the Lose Your Gut challenge, which we kind of laid the fundamentals. And for anybody who doesn't know what the Lose Your Gut challenge is, it's basically a 5-day virtual coaching program that we do. It's ran through Facebook, and we lay the foundation. We lay the foundation of what's required to achieve a fitness and fat loss transformation. But obviously there's a lot to it. It's like an introduction. And then if you want more, then the Muscle After 40 blueprint is, hey, we'll work together one-on-one, and we'll actually take you through this journey in real time. And it's a 1-year transformation. that muscle after 40 blueprint, and you went through that. You're actually more than a year into it now. Just like share, where were you like as far as body weight when you started the whole journey? Like before the Lose Your Gut challenge, what was your weight?
So I was at that trigger mark, that 220 pounds.
Oh, you were at the threshold.
That's what kind of got me. I was like, I got to do something.
That's where the alarm starts ringing, right?
Yeah. So I started at 220. Well, that was in February. I think I started with you. And then by September of that year, I think it was September or October, I was down into the 170s at that point. So I think the lowest I actually got to was 172, 173. And right now I kind of, I hover around that 177 to 179 mark. I'm slowly gaining lean mass. This year will give me a good gauge on how much lean mass I can gain, because I'm only really part ways through the actual focusing on gaining lean mass, which I guess I switched and bumped the calories. It was back in November, December. Okay. The key is I'm staying lean. I'm not living on chicken broccoli. I actually get to enjoy myself. And it's like as time goes on, it just becomes, the process just seems so much easier, so much more enjoyable. It's not like I'm going out of my way and bending over backwards or breaking myself to try and stay in this shape. It's just, I'm enjoying everyday life. I mean, I live a busy life. I'm a drilling engineer. I got 2 small kids. I mean, it's life in the fast lane every day.
Right.
But I find time, I'll get that workout in, and I'll get that walk in, and I'll just keep eating on track.
So just to talk about your workouts, like you're working out from home, and are you still working out from home?
I am. Yeah. My basement is I've got a Smith machine, some freeway. I just got a new set of power blocks not long ago. But yeah, I just work out in the basement. I work out at home. Typically, I try and work out early morning. And then I just find if I do it early in the daytime, it's done. And it's just much easier. As the day goes later, I'd be more inclined to be, maybe I'll do 2 workouts tomorrow, or I'll make up some excuse.
Right. Yeah. Easy to put it off when
you just don't seem so motivated late in the day, for me anyway. And everybody's different. I think I know some people they rather work out in the evenings, but what I found for me especially is evening workouts really amp me up, and I'd have trouble sleeping. That's the other reason I like doing it early. And I don't have the kids swinging off to bars and grabbing dumbbells and wanting to do this or that or pestering me, which I don't mind. They come and work out with me sometimes. So
that's cool. Laying the foundation. You're planting seeds for the future, setting the example.
I get them doing chin-up competitions. I just let them do body weight stuff right now.
There you go. But I mean, like, just think of how cool that is to be setting that positive example of health and fitness for your kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because they're going to grow up seeing that. And that was my main motivation, because a lot of the stuff you were talking about, like, I can totally relate to where you're coming from. Because when my son Harvey was born, like, just the exhaustion of not sleeping properly, the responsibilities of a newborn baby, and waking up in the middle of the night, diaper feeding or diaper changing, bottle feeding, all that stuff, and just the responsibility that goes into it. I mean, I would just be so mentally and drained, mentally and physically drained. It's like, I don't feel like meal prep, and I don't feel like working out. I'll start again tomorrow. Yeah. And then tomorrow I'd come around and I'll order a pizza tonight. Yeah, I'll start again on Monday. Diet starts on Monday, right? And then Monday roll around, and maybe I'd work out for a day or two, and then the whole shit would start all over again, right?
Yeah, just keep kicking the can.
Keep going. and I'd always have that all or nothing approach, thinking, okay, I had to be all in. And we've really, the whole muscle after 40 blueprint, the mindset that we have is, no, it doesn't have to be all in. It just has to be good enough, but good enough consistently. And something is better than nothing. And all these little marginal gains, just, hey, let's tweak this, tweak that. Let's make a little improvement here, a little improvement there. And it starts to build that momentum. It's like a snowball. And then as the snowball starts to roll and you start to see the results, before you know it, it's actually becomes easy, and you actually enjoy it more than you did eating whatever the heck you wanted to before.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree. And it's like I said, it's just as time goes on, as I keep learning, it's like it gets easier and easier. It's just, for me, it's a part of my daily life now is how I look at it. It's like getting up and you go to work every day. It's what you
Right.
do. I enjoy working out more than I enjoy my job. So
Well, that's good. Yeah. I'm the same way. Yeah.
that's how I treat it, right? You do it. You just get up and you know, not every workout's perfect. Like I've been doing a home renovation the past 3 weeks, and
Yeah. I've seen your pictures on Facebook. Yeah.
I have not been pushing any personal records and any lifts or anything, but I'm going through the motions. Like I'm getting back on track this week. That was my plan. So honestly, I was working late hours, was busy, energy levels weren't completely there, but you go through the motions, you just do it anyway.
Exactly. That consistency adds up because
Yeah.
you're not losing ground. I think one of the biggest problems with a lot of people, and when I'm saying a lot of people, I'm speaking to myself as well. And like in the past, when I had that all or nothing mindset, is when you slack off, then that's when you lose ground. Whereas if you're just good enough and you just go through the motions,
Yeah.
like you're still making slow, steady progress. It doesn't seem like much, and sometimes it might even seem like you're at a plateau. But
Yeah.
then maybe in a few weeks' time, like you'll hit a new personal best. Like
Yeah.
it starts to build up, and it doesn't always happen linear. This is another thing that a lot of people get confused. Like they put in a day's work, like exercise, nutrition, and then they expect to see a day's results. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen that way. And I know when we were having our coaching calls, this is some of the stuff we talked about is like you may have to put in several weeks of work before the results start to show in your body.
Yeah.
Right. You're going through the motions and it's like your body's adapting to it. And then after several weeks, then, okay, well, okay, the weight's changing, the strength is increasing. Wow, I see a bit of muscle fullness. My shoulders are a little fuller. My chest is a little fuller. Well, I don't have that lower pooch on the belly anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's happened slowly, but there's that lag time between the effort you put in and the results that you see. But if you can have that big long-term vision and not like get tangled up in the weeds of thinking, oh, I worked out for a whole week and I'm never lost any weight. Oh, this sucks. But you
Yeah.
see beyond that and look at it long term, you can really make it
Yeah.
an amazing transformation.
When going through a fat loss stage, you're always, especially if you start out at a fairly high body fat percentage, like you see pretty steady results. Like you every week you're seeing changes, and it's exciting. You're getting leaner,
Right.
Your clothes are getting looser, but like where I am now, I'm focused on muscle building. Like it's like weeks go by. It's like the paint's drying on the walls. I don't see anything, but I know eventually I will get bigger. It's just it takes time, and that's the thing, right? But the key for me right now is my lifting, my strength, if I can push that one extra rep follow the week after, say I do back and biceps the following week, if I can get one extra rep chin up or add 5 pounds or 2.5 pounds and I get the same number of reps. I mean, I know I'm progressing, I'm getting stronger, right? But it's much different when you've gone through the fat loss and you're looking at building muscle. Now, I think it would have been different if I was a string bean, a skinny guy who just started out. Like you'll see fast gains results, obviously in that first year and a half, 2 years possibly. But for me, I had gained a lot of my muscle mass in my early years, but it was masked by body fat essentially. So
yeah,
I gained strength quickly when I started out, like it pretty fast.
And those newbie gains that you're referring to, like the first year gains, a lot of that, I mean, you will see rapid gains when you start, but it also depends on when you start. Because obviously someone who starts in their teenage years or even in their early 20s, when your body is at its prime for growth, your hormone levels, your testosterone, your growth hormone, and everything is at its prime. There's no injuries, there's no aches or pains or tendonitis or arthritis or any of that stuff going on. Like everything's working like it should. Then you can really see rapid gains. And I can attest to that because I started, working out throughout my teenage years, and the gains I made then were off the charts. Like I even remember in high school, people used to say, "Oh, Lee's on steroids. Like he's taking something. He's growing so big." And I mean, I wasn't taking anything. It was just everything was working at that stage. And it's crazy. I didn't appreciate it back then because, the teenager mindset, it wasn't happening fast enough. But when I look back at it now, I'm like, holy shit, if I could make even half those gains, that would be
Oh yeah.
mind-boggling, right?
Yeah, when you're young like that, that is your prime window.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. As once you get older, like
It's slower.
I'm mid 40s, and I mean, I'd imagine my testosterone levels are half of what they were when I was 20. Or
You're still making it work, and
but
like,
you can still gain muscle because I am. So it's a lifestyle. It's not like I'm trying to go on stage to compete. I'm trying to gain as much muscle as I can to win that trophy or something. It's like I've got my lifetime ahead of me to gain whatever genetic potential my body can get to. So it's just enjoy it and just keep plugging along.
and the big thing when like you mentioned this earlier, like the whole bulk and cut approach that a lot of people take, unless you're the extreme string bean hard gainer, if you will, there's really no point in purposely putting yourself into a calorie surplus, because it's just leads to excess body fat. And I'm guilty of that. I used to pile on a lot of fat thinking I'm bulking up, but ultimately I was just getting fat. And what we've done in your situation is you've had your program, your nutrition plan, your workouts, and everything else that you followed to lose the fat. And then to switch it to a lean gain program, it's just, okay, do the same thing, but don't be in a calorie deficit. So just bump up the portions. So you're doing the same course things, still doing the workouts, still doing the cardio, still eating clean most of the time, but just bump up those portions a little bit. So now you're no longer in a deficit. And then that little bit extra calories can now, instead of be used towards fat loss, it's used towards lean gains. So that's why your weight is going up a little bit, but the fat is staying stable.
Yes,
That's the lean gain aspect of it.
Yeah, because my guess is I hover around maintenance.
Yeah,
as far as calories go. That's where I am. I'm not 500 above, which
no, right.
You hear people say 500 calories above for 30 days is
You're going to get fat.
you're going to start gaining 2 pounds of fat for every
exactly
more, right?
Yeah, and that's the way it works. You see guys when they bulk up, they do gain more fat than muscle. I mean, and it's deceiving because in the short term you will feel stronger, you'll feel fuller and everything else, and you think, oh, I'm making all kinds of crazy gains. But once you get beyond that, like filling out your glycogen stores and that temporary fullness you get, then it's just spilling over to body fat. And I've done that myself. I've gotten up to 240 bulking up, and it wasn't pretty, put it that way.
No,
right?
But and I can understand for someone who's competitive, where you're trying to get big and muscular because you're going on stage and you're wanting to win or whatever. But I think like for the average person, there's really no need of it. I think just much. I'd rather stay in a lean state and feel good and look good. Like I don't need 2 different sizes of clothes for when I bulk up here and when I get back skinny here, right? I just
and that's true. Your fat clothes and your skinny clothes. That's right.
Grow out of them.
Yeah. So, like, what's been some of the biggest game changers for you now over the past year and a half that you've been doing this whole thing? Like, as far as like mindset shifts or habit shifts, like, what are some of the big things that you've really adopted and applied?
Being good enough, but good enough consistently is definitely a big one. I've come to realize that you don't have to be perfect. You can conjure up things in your head that'll just create this wall that will frustrate you. Like the 2 key ones for me, especially in the fat loss stage, were the slowing down the eating and eating 80% full. Those 2 are game changers. That was when I grasped that and got it. I was losing anywhere from a pound to a pound and a half per week, but I essentially did not hit any plateau during my entire fat loss. I was steady. So from that 220, well, initially, I mean, that first couple of weeks, you lose that 8 or 10 pounds, and then it just goes to that steady state loss. So I dropped consistently. And when I got down to about 180 pounds, it slowed down to about a half a pound a week at that point. Just more, which is understandable. That's what happens. Your body fat percentage is getting lower. It slows up as far as losing the body fat. And I think for me now, it's like my mindset's in a totally different place than I used to be. Like I'm not scared. I'm not worried about going out and enjoying myself and gaining 6 pounds overnight. Like I've let go of all that. I just, you don't have to be perfect. And I think once you grasp that, it's a game changer. Like you don't get frustrated. You're not scared of slipping or something, right? It makes it so much easier.
No, I love it. And you've really adopted the whole good enough, but good enough consistently mindset. I mean, I keep
Yeah.
saying that over and over again. And it's something, it's one thing to hear it and understand it intellectually, but it's something totally different to experience it and live it on your
Yeah.
day-to-day life, which is where you're at this stage of the game. You're
Yes.
living it, and you have confidence knowing that, yes, I can go out on a Friday or Saturday night. I can have a meal with the family. Mother's Day is coming up this weekend. You can go
Yeah.
out and have a take your wife out to dinner or have a big family dinner. You can celebrate, you can enjoy yourself, but start again the next day or start again for your next meal. And
Yeah.
just know that, hey, as long as I'm on track most of the time, I'll still move in the right direction. Like
Yeah.
it's like a balance scale. Like, are you
Yeah.
making more good choices or bad choices? That's all it is. It's
Yeah.
a balance scale, right? You don't have to be perfect every day, as long as you're
No.
good enough.
No. No. And I mean, I'll be honest. Like initially, so when I dropped down to my lowest weight, which was in the low 170s, I mean, I was still even skeptical. I was like, if I go out to this barbecue and have a couple of beers, and yeah, I still was hesitant. I was like,
Yep.
and then it was like I stuck my toe in the water enough times now that I know, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Then it just makes it so much more enjoyable and easy, right? So I say the biggest hurdle you got to overcome is what you build in your own mind as far as fitness. I think it's not as difficult as people think. I think most people make it out to be harder than what it
Sure.
really is, right? Because you just start to overthink things, right?
Overthink,
Yeah.
overcomplicate.
Yeah.
And just getting back to some stuff now, like, are you tracking your calories with MyFitnessPal still?
No, I don't track any calories anymore.
So you're
No.
not tracking calories. Now, you
No.
did initially,
I
right?
did for 6 months, just and the reason I did that because I just wanted to get an idea of portion control and this and that, and just see how my body responded. But I don't track any calories anymore. I eyeball portions. I've learned
Right.
what I need to eat, and I just go by how I feel when I eat and my fullness and whatnot. I don't.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, if I was stalled as far as muscle growth right now, if I was a month and a half or so and nothing was really happening as far as lean mass, I might track it for a week just to see, okay, where am I? And just get a kind of an
Right.
idea. But then I did that there a while ago, actually. But then
Okay.
yeah. And I mean, I think it's good. It's a good way to learn portions and how
Hmm.
many calories you actually take in, but you don't have to be any slave to any app either, right? If you enjoy it, if you're a data nut and you want to
Some
track,
people are, yeah, the bean
yeah.
counters. They
But
like
then
tracking.
I mean, I've even seen it like say on the dad bod transformation sites, like, and you've mentioned this to me before. It's like, okay, you need 2,446 calories. Do I'm 550 calories short. Do I need that 50 calories? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I didn't hit my macros for the day, right?
Food
Should I stay up
labels
late?
are not that accurate.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or I overate by, so much, what do I do? And like, no,
yeah,
it's good enough, but good enough consistently. And
yeah. I do track my workouts.
yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
well,
Nice.
but I don't do it using that. You can
That old school pen and paper. I
oh
love it.
yeah, pen and paper, and I look at my
Yeah.
what was the heaviest I lifted the week before, what reps, and I'm going for one
Sure.
more. That's
Hmm.
that's all I track. That's all I do. I'm old school.
Yeah.
I
I'm the
was
same
what
way.
I was using your app for quite a while, but then I was like, I just go back to old school.
I got to be full transparency. I mean, yes, within the coaching program, we've got a smartphone app. And the cool thing about the app is when you log your workouts to the app, it syncs up with my end as well. So I can literally follow along with your workouts. But I don't like having this in the gym, right? I don't like taking my phone to the gym with me. So what I do myself, and I'm just like you, I've got a spiral bound notebook, right? Pen and
Yeah,
paper. I've done it ever since I started. And it's just one of those habits that's ingrained with me. And I just love the pen to paper and going through it that way. So I
yeah,
do the same thing that you do. I don't
yeah,
use the app, but I know like a lot of the guys who are new to the program and coming on board, they love the app. And
yeah,
to start with, yes, use the app, use it to lay the foundation. Same with the MyFitnessPal or any nutrition tracking software. Use it to lay the foundation and to learn the habits, learn like what's a good source of protein, what's a good source of carbohydrates, how much food am I actually eating. But once you know it, you can let go of that and then live off the habits and the lifestyle and just go intuitively, so to speak. And this is what makes it sustainable, because we're not a slave to tracking the numbers, weighing and measuring. And I mean, that's a pain in the ass. It is. I
Yeah.
find weighing, measuring, tracking, and having to record my every meal I eat and all this, I hate it. So I don't do it. I rely on the habits. But I love how you said, if you do hit a plateau, then okay, yeah, we can break out the nutrition tracking in just to
Yeah.
see where things are.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be a slave to it. And that's what makes this a sustainable lifestyle approach, where you get in shape and you stay in shape and you enjoy the process without feeling like you're on a diet.
Yeah.
No.
I take, so those sheets, I got a stack of them there. So I take, when I'm sitting down having morning coffee and the pre-workout meal, I'll look at it. Say I'm doing legs, okay, I'll look at what did I get, what was I doing last week, where was I at for weight and reps, and just you aim for either a little more weight, a little more reps, and that's progressive loading. That's how you grow.
That's it. It's as simple as that. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that much more complicated. I mean, better than you did before. That's it.
That's right. Yeah, one
And
more
even with
rep, one more
progress.
weight.
You know,
And not every workout you hit it. It's like you mentioned earlier. There's workouts where I mean, maybe your energy levels are low or glycogen levels are low, and you just don't have the juice in the tank. But I always found I'll still go through the workout, and I always found that the following week when I get back to that same workout, I'll usually make a jump, and this is exactly what you mentioned. Yeah, that's typically how it goes. They're not every workout's going to be perfect. I mean, a lot of times I'll have a great workout. Then I'll have that was okay. And then I was like, meh. But
go through them all, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
But the key is you just do it. It all adds up.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's deceiving too sometimes, because I've had times where I felt really good going into the gym, and then sometimes those workouts are like, so. And then there's some other times I might feel, oh, I'm dragging my heels today. But by the time I get into the gym, have myself a cup of coffee and get through my warm-up routine, sometimes those are the best workouts. It's not always predictable, right? No. But as long as you're consistent and you go through them, like say, go through the good, the bad, the ugly, just show up, right? 80% of success is just showing up. If you show up every day, I mean, the results are going to take care of themselves over time. Really have faith in it. Following a proven system to take you through that process so that you can enjoy it.
Yeah, and I found the exact same thing. You drag your ass in and say, okay, let's just get going there. Just get warmed up and get going, and boom, it's like best workout you've had in weeks.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And then you go in sometimes full of piss and vinegar, and it's like you hit the brick wall halfway through.
Sure. I've had those. Yeah.
But you just do it, right? You just
do it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So what's the plan for you now? Like right now, what are you currently working on as far as fitness and stuff? Like, what's your main objective for the rest of the year?
So my goal right now is gain lean mass, essentially. I just want to keep growing, get bigger. So right now I hover, like I mentioned, I think it's around 177, 179. I mean, my ultimate goal, and I don't know how many years this will take me, but it will be to climb up to around, say, 190 and say be anywhere from 12 to 15% body fat, somewhere around there. So, and I mean, it'll take me several years to get there, but ultimately that's where I want to be.
Nice.
Yeah.
And your body fat, like I know, because you're on our private Facebook group, you're sharing your progress and everything on a regular basis. And I see it when you're uploading your progress pictures, to our app and our tracking software and stuff. I mean, like you're staying lean. That's one thing I like. You've lost the fat and you're still staying lean, even though you're making these gains. So like, what's your body fat now? Like, have you tested it recently? Because I know you were doing some of those in body scans or something.
I haven't done one in a while, but I've got a scale where I track, and it's been fairly consistent. Is there like it's anywhere between like 15-16%. That's where I kind of hover, but I'm comfortable.
Right.
I mean, I'm not starved by any means. I eat plenty. So
yeah.
But my body seems to hold comfortably in that spot.
Nice.
I mean, I thought I'm going to take a vacation. I'm coming back to Newfoundland in July. So I thought maybe I'll go into a deficit here in the coming weeks and just shave it down a little bit just for summer. But
yeah. Well, I mean, you have that option if you wanted to put that extra little push, to like trim down closer to say 10% and have a little bit more definition. You can certainly do that. And you know what to do after going through the whole process, you know what like changes you'd have to make to do that.
Yeah.
But
I thought like one of these days, maybe I'll take it up as a challenge to myself and just see how lean I can get before I'm ready to tear everything apart. And either I'm salivating at the sight of the pizza.
Yeah. I actually had this conversation with another one of our members, Jeff Samatero, and he did the same thing. Like he just wanted to see how lean he could get. And in his case, he ended up getting down to 165 pounds, and he was very lean, like, getting close to like competition lean at that stage. But it wasn't sustainable when you get super lean. But then he just increased the calories a little bit, like still following the same habits and still doing his cardio, still doing his training, still eating clean most of the time, like still following the same core principles, but just bumped up the calories a little bit. And he's hovering around 175 pounds. And like, that's his new set point. Whereas before he started this whole journey, he was like 235, and now he's 175. And like, he could take his shirt off anytime and be comfortable. And like, I guess that's where you're at now. Like if you had to go to the beach or the pool, or someone said, hey, spur of the moment trip down south, like you could go and not be embarrassed.
No, that's right. Yeah, for sure.
And that's the goal, like to be comfortable in your own skin. Like it's not about winning a competition or necessarily being better than somebody else. It's just be comfortable with me and not embarrassed about, I'm 30 pounds overweight or 50 pounds overweight or whatever the number is. Like, not be embarrassed about carrying around that extra fat, and then setting an example for your kids. That was a big motivation for me. I didn't want my son growing up with a fat, out of shape dad. So no way. Not having that.
No. And like 2 years ago, summer times, I would never take my shirt off. Yeah, I just walk out shirtless every day.
Right. I mean, how cool
I feel a lot more confident, right?
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to go out with shirtless every day, but if I wanted to pull
in Canada, it's not practical. You have some months when you can, but I know what you mean. Just to be able to do that, right? To be comfortable in your own skin, it's such an amazing feeling. And I can relate to being the guy at the beach or whatever. Oh, I'll keep my t-shirt on. It's middle of summer, sweltering hot outside, and it's a t-shirt staying on.
I know. Yeah.
It's not a good feeling.
No more for me. Never again. So, yeah.
I mean, like, even in my case, when Harvey was born, in the first couple of years when I was going through this and I got my dad bod, I mean, I truly understood what dad bod means, after becoming a father. I mean, I didn't even want to take him to the pool to teach him how to swim because I was too embarrassed to take my shirt off and get in the water with him and stuff. So he was late learning to swim because of my insecurities. And that's, something that I regret, and I'm glad that I've got a system in place now to get control over that. And I know you're going through the same journey. So it's such a weight lifted off your shoulders when you can say, like, fitness and fat loss and all this is no longer an issue anymore. You got a system in place to get lean, stay lean, and enjoy the process. So just for everyone watching this now, like, what would your advice be to someone who's they're the before Craig, if you will? They're 220 pounds plus, not happy with where they are. What would you recommend for them?
Honestly, the best thing I ever did was to reach out to you, Lee, and sign up. That's honestly, it's just, you need, I think it's just there's too much information out there, and you can try and get things figured out on your own, but and you might, right? But it can get frustrating, right? I think it's better to reach out and get advice, and then, but you got to work on, you got to shift your mindset. You got to buy into the system and believe in it, and you've just really got to focus on the habits. Like, you got to build those habits where it's not like you wake up in the morning, it's like, oh, I got to do this now, I got to do that. No, it should be just you wake up and okay, you just go about your day and do your things. It should be mindless, right? It just, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think that the biggest mistake a lot of people make as well is they dive in head first. They try and do a complete 180-degree flip on day one. and they just
Yes.
become so overwhelmed, and it just they crash and burn, right? Take
Mhm.
take small steps.
Love that. Like the whole mindset behind our program is like we don't want to overhaul your entire diet and lifestyle from day one. We just want to focus on getting 1% better each day. You know, that again, good enough consistently. We've said that 100 times already, but it's so true. But 1% better, little marginal gains, baby steps. And it doesn't seem like much. Like, you know, if you get 1% better today, like nobody's going to notice. Nobody's going to, you know, pat you on the back and say, hey, way to go. Like it's not even noticeable for most people. But 1% better day after day, week after week, month after month. And then like by this time next year, it's like, holy shit, what are you doing? It's like your friends now when they see you, like, okay, you're going out for a dinner with or the social drink with the buddies or whatever. Like, how do you stay lean and you're still having a beer with us? Like, what are you doing? You can actually have a system to get in shape and enjoy it, and that's so cool, right? And I'm so proud of you for what you've gone through. I mean, like of all the guys in our group, like you're definitely one of the action takers, and you know you've inspired a lot of people, right? When we were having our conversations and you're sharing to the group, you've not only have you gotten in shape, and of course you're inspiring your friends and family, and you're helping inspire others as well. And you know, through
Yeah.
this video, hopefully we'll inspire thousands more.
Yeah, no, and I get it all the time. I mean, people ask me, so what do you do? Like, yeah, and it's funny because there's so much misconception. People think low carb is the only way you can lose weight.
Right.
Honestly, I get so many people look at me and say, "You must eat low carb." No, I actually eat a lot of carbs.
Yeah.
I just don't
Yeah.
eat a lot of calories.
Sure.
Too many
Right.
calories.
There's a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always willing to offer advice to people. I mean, I enjoy seeing people make changes and get motivated and get in shape. I mean, I'm all for it. I know how tough it is. There's things you don't know, it can be a struggle for sure.
Well, Craig, man, it's been awesome chatting with you. Again, I'm super pleased with the progress you made, and I know the best is yet to come. I'm looking forward to having another chat with you like this, you know, this time next year, and see, okay, where are you two in the journey, and just continue it, because it's not just like where do you want to be, you know, in 6 weeks or in 12 weeks or whatever, or even this time next year. It's like, where do you want to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road? Like when you zoom out and that big picture mentality. Like just think if you kept down the road you were at before, you know, when that 220 mark hit and you're like, oh, I crashed diet and then blew them back up and all this. If you kept doing that versus what you're doing now, like think like when you're in your 50s or 60s, like where is that going to be?
Yeah.
Like it's that's game changer. Like you could be lean and healthy and enjoying life, ideal body weight, or you could be overweight, out of shape, stressed out, and riddled with health issues.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, for me, it's only been just over a year, but it's like to me, I'm only just getting started, to be honest.
Just getting started.
It's just
Yeah.
a start. Yeah. Yeah.
But like I say, it's been amazing to see how much, you know, progress you've made. Awesome. I mean, again, super proud of you. And like I say, I know the best is yet to come.
Well, there you go. Now, I hope you found that conversation with Craig inspiring. I certainly did. And the big take home message that I really want to emphasize here is he's just a regular guy. I mean, he was struggling with his weight, frustrated with how things were going, but he reached out for help, took action, and followed a proven system, and it works. And now he's in a position where he's not only lost the weight, but he's sustaining a lean, healthy lifestyle, and he's enjoying it more than what he was doing before. Like, how cool is that to be able to be lean, happy with your body, comfortable in your own skin, and enjoying the process without feeling like you're suffering it out on a diet? Now, if this is something that you're interested in, if you'd like to go through a transformation just like Craig has, then feel free to reach out to me. You can email me, and I'll have my email address down below. It's leeh@leehayward.com, and we can schedule in for a strategy session call and discuss you and your situation and your goals and the challenges you're going through, and see if we can come up with a realistic action plan that works for you, just like we did with Craig. And if I feel that I can help you and that you'd be a good fit for the Muscle After 40 Blueprint, then I may invite you to come on board and join our VIP coaching program. And if I feel that I can help you, like maybe you got some unique challenges or special situations that are outside my realm of expertise, if that's the case, then what I'll do is I'll recommend some outside resources to fitness professionals and healthcare professionals who can help you. I've got a big network of colleagues in the fitness industry, and I'm sure I'll be able to point you in the right direction so that you can get the help you need if you want to. So if you would like some help with this, again, if you'd like to brainstorm and have a free strategy session call where we can really discuss you and your situation and your goals and see if we can come up with an action plan, feel free to reach out to me. And again, I'll have my details down in the description below, or feel free to just drop me an email, right? Email me and we can have a chat through there. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. And if you do have any questions, comments, or feedback, please feel free to post them down in the comments below. And I'll talk to you in my next video coming soon. Take care. Over and out.